A perfect Sunday night on the banks of the Olentangy here in Columbus, Ohio. And we have got a terrific matchup here for Sunday Night Lacrosse on the Big Ten Network. Senior night for the Ohio State leaders of this program. They would like nothing better than to spoil the party of the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays, led by the dynamic duo of Jacob Angelis and Garrett Degnan. That was then, and this is what you get tonight. Mark Dixon, Greg Bice, pleased to be joined by you here tonight on the Big Ten Network for Sunday Night Lacrosse. Greg, you know this Ohio State program better than anyone else. You know what it means to play against Johns Hopkins. Currently the Blue Jays at the top of the standings, but this has not been a kind place to Johns Hopkins.
No, the Blue Jays have not won here in Columbus since joining the Big Ten. They're obviously going to try and change that tonight. They're top the conference at 3-0. This is Coach Milliman's most complete team since he took over the helm 4 years ago. You look at the Ohio State Buckeyes, they come in at 6-6. All 6 of those losses have come against RPI top 10 teams. The Buckeyes are better than advertised, and their defense is phenomenal, number 1 in the Big Ten in goals against.
And that defense will have to be on point here tonight to limit the quarterback of the Blue Jay offense, Jacob Angelis.
Jacob Angelis is a little bit underrated, I think, which is hard to do, but he is a phenomenal quarterback for the Blue Jays offense. He can score, but most importantly, he can feed. He's the quarterback, and for my money, he is the best assist man in Big Ten lacrosse right now.
Also has a little deception to his game, scoring on the hidden ball trick earlier in the season against Rutgers. We love great stories in college lacrosse. Alex Marinier might be one of the best, if not the best, for Ohio State.
No doubt. He comes in recruited as a defenseman, and now he's playing attack. And he is the best stretch shooter for the Ohio State Buckeyes. They will need him to score in transition, score in man up, score in 6-on-6. They really need him to get going tonight.
Manning the pipes tonight for the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays, graduate transfer from Cornell University, Chase Erlin.
Chase Erlin got a lot of games, obviously played at Cornell, 4-year starter there, and hasn't missed a beat playing for the Blue Jays this season.
5th year on one end and a freshman on the other. Caleb Fyock has taken the Big Ten by storm.
Yeah, what weren't plans for him to play, there was an injury to Henry Blake. He stepped up, and man, he's been phenomenal.
As we take a look at the current standings, after tonight, there'll be only one weekend to go of men's lacrosse in the Big Ten. Hopkins looking to move one step closer to the #1 seed for the Big Ten men's tournament. Ohio State looking to get their 2nd victory of conference play. They beat Rutgers a couple weeks ago, 14-8, and the Buckeyes win the first faceoff. Tommy Burke, graduate student from Vermont, gives the Buckeyes their first opportunity.
I think the face-off X is one spot that the Ohio State Buckeyes, on paper at least, have a pretty clear advantage.
Burke coming into tonight winning 55%, and we've got a flag down, so this is going to be a free possession for the Buckeyes.
We had offside, so Hopkins electing, they got caught, might as well throw the extra defender down there on defense.
Weird things happen when Hopkins comes to Columbus. As we mentioned in the open, the Blue Jays have not won here since the formation of Big Ten men's lacrosse. This is their first visit and first game in this incredible new facility, the Ohio State Lacrosse Stadium.
33 offsides, 30 seconds, blue 33 offsides.
Let's take a look at the replay, and you can count them. 7. A substitution error for Johns Hopkins. Not a good start. The man-down defense will now have to come up big.
If you're Ohio State, Marinier obviously leads a team with 3-men-up goals, but a lot of plays that are drawn up for them, and I'm not sure what happened there. I think he was throwing it to the official. I think he thought the official was his teammate.
You know, extra-man offense, you just get used to practice, just snapping it around and almost taking for granted that your target is going to be there. Ohio State just carelessly turns the ball over. Buckeyes are in all gray here tonight. Hopkins wearing the blue jerseys, black shorts, black helmets.
So we got a mistake from Hopkins, and then a mistake from the Buckeyes. Favorite return.
Jonathan Peshko will settle things down for the Blue Jays. Garrett Degnan, number 40 in blue. Looks like the matchups, Jacob Schneider, number 52 in the scarlet and gray, 5th-year senior, will take Degnan. Russell Melendez Looks like he is going to be guarded by number 42, Cullen Brown, a sophomore. And that's a great move. Shot just goes wide. Ball's on the turf. Picked up by Ohio State. Snyder with a little flip. That's Connor Camille leading the run out.
Connor Camille is the fastest player on the Ohio State team. Going to play college football next year at Coastal Carolina. His receiver was a phenomenal high school receiver.
Senior out of Rocky River, Ohio. He missed the Penn State game. One of the reasons why the Nittany Lions were able to come back in that contest. Ohio State, shot, save Erlin. Ball rebounds to Scott Smith, who picks it up clean, recognizes the adjacent pressure, gets it over to Quentin Kilrain, and here come the Blue Jays.
Yeah, if you're Ohio State, talked about for both these teams, is being able to score in transition, those opportunities. There's a great opportunity for Ohio State on that last one, just not a great shot placement. Good save from Erlin.
Early offense, it was Thomas Greenblatt with the shot. Erlin makes the stop, and Hopkins midfield unit, Jimmy Ayers checking into the contest, Hunter Chavette, and Brendan Grimes. So a senior and two freshmen on this midfield unit for the Blue Jays, our second line.
As a defender, when you're playing in front of goalies that are playing this well, and Flack and Erlin, you know you don't have to be perfect. You know those guys are going to bail you out, and you saw Erlin did that for Hopkins right there. They were caught subbing, and he bailed him out.
Shot goes wide, backed up by the Blue Jays. Greg Langermeyer, one of the short stick D middies in the game for Ohio State. Blake Island, he's a two-way. He'll play short stick D midi and be on the offensive end. He had 3 goals against Notre Dame, 2 against Cornell earlier this year for Ohio State.
Yeah, just look.
Grimes, feet inside, D-stick. A little bit of a forced pass.
I don't think anything's coming easy tonight, Mark.
You played defense here at Ohio State, one of the best in Buckeye program history. What makes this unit so special?
This unit right now, and we talked to Coach Myers, what did they change? And this year they simplified things. They've got some great athletes down low. They got the defensive midfield that Coach Myers thinks is the best in the country, but they've simplified, they communicate, they recover, and they slide effectively.
And that is a great accomplishment because they're missing arguably their best defender.
Yeah,
Bobby Van Buren has been out all year with an injury. Shot goes over the cage. That was Blake Island, back up by the Buckeyes.
Yeah, you see anytime they get Blake Island on offense, they're going to attack the Hopkins. If they're able to trap an offensive midfielder on, they're going to attack him with Blake Island.
Heavily contested ground ball. That was Brett Martin picking up. He gets dumped to the turf. It's a 2-on-1 opportunity for the Buckeyes. The shot goes over the cage. Chase Erlin is the closest when and where it goes out. So Ohio State, a great ride and a good shooting opportunity, just goes wide.
Here's the ride. People throwing bodies around Big Ten lacrosse Sunday night.
You said nothing was going to come easy. Every inch of the field will be contested here tonight. Ben Mayer with that shot, junior out of Palm Harbor, Florida, a York College transfer.
I think if you're Ohio State, you've liked the shots you've gotten early in this game. Hopkins, on the other hand, they haven't got any great scoring opportunities.
Matt Collison, Dylan Bauer, Jonathan Peshko. This is Russell Melendez being guarded by Cullen Brown. Brown, the starting long stick midi last year for Ohio State, bumping down to close. His father, Roger, an NFL alum, won a Super Bowl with the New York Giants.
I think Cullen Brown is underrated as a defender, and he does everything well for the Buckeyes. You saw a great time slide there. He's great off the ground. Between him and Kilrain for Hopkins, I think you're looking at 2 of the best young defenders in Big Ten.
Quentin Kilrain started the season for Hopkins, lower on the depth chart at long stick midfield, and now he's down at close, and he's guarded as a freshman the offense's #1 scoring option. He took Mikey Boehm against Michigan. He had the assignment of TJ Malone last week against Penn State. So these kids have grown up in a hurry.
Yeah, it's always a little harder to impress me on the defensive end.
I can understand that.
But he's something special.
Feet inside and a push and a goal. Will it count? It will. Ed Sheen takes the feed and redirects it into the back of the cage. Ohio State up 1-0.
Great hands from Sheen and good body position. Great body control. This is just a great individual effort from Sheen, and great trust from Ari Allen to throw it into him. He's covered, he gets hit in the back, somehow gets the shot off, but Ari Allen playing with his head up, hits Sheen in the stick, and I mean, I thought there could have been a push with possession there if, you know, the shot didn't go in, would have been waved off.
Yeah.
Goal is good.
Yeah, I'm probably throwing a flag in that situation as well, but it would have been wiped out by the score. 14th goal of the year for Sheen, the junior out of Seal Beach, California. Had 27 goals last year to lead the team, and Ohio State battling on that ensuing faceoff. Tough ground ball picked up by Trent DeChico. And Ohio State, we knew this game was going to be a buckle all 4 points of your chin straps here tonight, and Ohio State's coming out very physical, very energized.
Yeah, they're looking for that signature win, that marquee win to build their resume. They've had those 6 losses against those top 10 ranked RPI teams, so they've played a very difficult schedule. Obviously, Hopkins has as well.
Shot just goes wide,
and they feel like they're due. Talking to Coach Myers, he said they're ready. They're chomping at the bit.
Shot and a goal off of the restart. Nothing fancy. It's Thomas Greenblatt. He cruises up the alley behind goal line extended and sizzles the top corner.
Greenblatt just hit the gas pedal off the end line. And then this to me is the reason he was able to score this goal, make it look so easy. This is a shot he's worked on time and time again. You'll see him just hit the gas. You're running upfield, have the awareness to know where that goal is. That's you've been shooting that shot 1,000 times. You've been working after practice, and now it's paying off for you on Sunday night.
We've seen head coach Nick Myers. He's got to be pleased with this start for the Buckeyes. This is a Hopkins team. They'll go 6 deep at short stick defensive midfield. The defensive assignment on that last possession was number 48 in blue, Marcelo Ortega, senior from Miami, Florida. And as you mentioned, just a great speed move by Greenblatt. Ari Allen, he is electric.
This day and age, you got to have a stable defensive midfielders. They got to be athletes. You know, we were talking about it earlier. That's where every offense is attacking, right? They're attacking those short stick middies time and time again. And then you need those guys to be able to get up and down the field and try and create some easy scoring opportunities in transition.
Tenacious defense by Johns Hopkins. Bowden Zulik and Scott Smith combined to take the ball away from number 27 in gray, Jack McKenna. McKenna, though, does a great job of recovering to make the ride difficult for the Blue Jays.
Jameson Kester, defensive coordinator for the Blue Jays, done a fantastic job since arriving back on campus, graduate of the Blue Jays. But his defense, they're aggressive, they speed you up, and their sticks are so active.
They're letting them play. Physical, tough defense by Ohio State. Eli Fisher dropped Casey McDermott to the turf. Early offense for Ohio State once again. Chase Erlin, high-octane start. Who do you think this benefits more, Hopkins or Ohio State?
I think Ohio State. You're playing at home. You got the crowd behind you. And listen, none of these teams are going to score easily in 6-on-6, right? So I think the key for both of these squads is what can you get in transition and can you convert on those man-up opportunities? Knowing anything that gets settled down, you're going to have to make multiple passes against stingy defenses. You're going to have to force the team to slide, recover multiple times. And Chase Erlin is I mean, it could be 4 or 5-0 right now, except for Chase Erlin making some big saves. He just stared down Marinier with his hands free.
No shots on goal so far for Johns Hopkins. This one ping-pongs around. Colin Brown taking the lunch money of Jacob Angelis behind the cage. And Eli Fisher is going to leg it out. Ohio State's defense has been dialed in the early going. McKenna with a little bit of an off-speed shot, a knuckleball. That was good defense from Scott Smith, but the 6'6" junior is able to get it by Chase Erlin. Ohio State is up early, 3-0.
Jack McKenna has come on late for the Buckeyes. He's playing his best lacrosse right now. And this is similar to what we saw with the Greenblatt goal, just the other side. You're going to see him put his head down, get upfield. A little bit of a knuckleball, as you said. Ohio State Buckeyes 3, Hopkins 0. We'll be back right after the break. But recruiting down the line, kids want to play in great stadiums. All of the Big Ten Conference has that. You want to recruit right, you got to have the facilities in this day and age, and all of these teams do.
Face-off win by Burke. Out of the timeout, shot rings off the helmet of Patrick Dean's long stick midi for the Blue Jays. Cullen Brown flubs the first-time grounder, but is able to recover and pick it up and gets the ball upfield. And right now, it is all Ohio State. We mentioned the offside penalty early on. That mental error by Hopkins seems to have set the tone with Maryland, the rivalry game on the horizon. This has all the makings of a trap game for the Johns Hopkins Blue Jays.
It definitely does, but we also talked about Ohio State's a lot better than the record appears, right?
Shot Erlin with the stop.
But, I mean, is Hopkins looking at records and looking forward and saying, we got that big game against Maryland, all the tradition and the history with that game and that rivalry? Maybe, but who knows what's going on? Ohio State has all the momentum right now.
Ohio State has been on the road the last 2 weeks.
Those Kilrain with a great stick check.
Yeah.
Ohio State able to recover.
The Buckeye faithful have shown up in droves here tonight. Sellout crowd, senior night, great environment here. Feet across the crease, and it looked like Marinier lost that in the sun. Talk about using your head. Patrick Deans.
Ooh. I can tell you, even though you have a helmet on, that still hurts.
You played in the early days of the Cascades.
Yes.
I was in the old bucket helmet, but either way, that one going to leave your ears ringing for a bit.
I remember John Grant Jr. hit me right under the chin one time, and I thought I broke my jaw.
That's always fun.
It wasn't, I can tell you.
Good thing about Junior, hopefully it was one of those deceptive, little like sky whammy into a behind.
No. It was just, I think it was attempting a two-pointer, yeah.
Peshko over to Degnan. Hopkins still looking for their first shot on Cage. Garrett Degnan.
Are you allowed to do that? Did you see Snyder push him with his free hand?
You're not. No call by the officials.
Yeah.
Matt Collison being guarded by Island. Collison scored the game winner in overtime last week against Penn State.
All officiating questions that I have tonight are going right to you, Mr. Dixon.
Angeles inside roll, quickly double. 5 seconds to shoot. Degnan fought off by Caleb Viok. Big save by the big freshman. First quality scoring opportunity for Hopkins in this game.
Coach Myers takes a timeout.
They used to go to Hopkins annually for that exposure and that experience of playing against one of the best programs in the country.
So the last time Hopkins won in Columbus, I was on the team.
That's your legacy, huh?
That's what I left for.
Look, that's what you have to do to build a program.
No doubt. No doubt.
You look at, the upstarts, if you will, of the last 20, 25 years. Shot by Melendez. Notre Dame, when they went to their first championship weekend. Who'd they beat? Hopkins in the quarterfinals. Denver. Who did they beat? Hopkins. Duke, 97. Hopkins. So
right.
Coach Bresci had a great blueprint, and obviously Nick Myers, his understudy here in Columbus for so many years, and he's been leading the program, learned well.
Hopkins had a chance there. They had Angeles on a short stick dodging, and Ohio State slides and recovers.
Nice feed inside by Collison. Angeles got him, was crossed up. I don't think he expected. Collison is terrific to watch play. 6'4", but he has got really soft hands for such a big guy.
Yeah, and that was one there. It was a great idea, just weren't able to execute. It's the right look, right timing. If you catch and connect on that, you got to lay it.
So Hopkins comes away empty, but you got to feel good if you're the Blue Jays. You got a quality look on the doorstep. That, had it converted, would have been a quality opportunity. They've seemed to have settled down offensively to at least get some looks.
That was easily their best possession of the first quarter. Ohio State's got to be careful just transferring the ball. They're obviously trying to get the matchups. Hopkins defenders are on you so quick, and their sticks are so active.
Very aggressive. This is a Hopkins defense that is without the services of one of their long stick middies, Jacob Stabner. Transfer from Princeton, not in the lineup this evening. Pass, that's Patrick Deans. He is LSM #1 with Kit Kilrain going down to the close defense. You can expect Carson Brown to get some runs tonight for the Blue Jays at the pole. Luke Martin, brother of Brett Martin, a freshman, Luke will also get some run tonight. Hopkins, though, back on the offense.
And Hopkins has Marinier trapped on defense, but I guess he was recruited as a defender, so he can't be that bad. He's playing attack now.
Can't be that much of a liability. How did that work out for Marinier?
That's worked out pretty well. Yeah. So, well, he played box up in Canada, was leading scorer on his team up in Canada, Junior A and Minto Cup. So,
you know how to play defense if you're.
Oh yeah, all the box guys. Yeah, all the box guys know how to play defense. Getting recruited there, and then turns out he can score some goals too.
Yeah. Casey McDermott getting a shift on the offensive midfield. McDermott, head of steam, sweeps right, gets step, shoots just wide, and he took a late hit. That was late, and it looks like it was high. Casey McDermott got his bell rung. Flag flies, and it looks like Hopkins is going to have their first man-up opportunity of the evening.
Yeah, let's see. This could be big, depending on how many minutes they give him and whether they lock it in. I missed it in real time.
Likewise.
37th grade, 1, late hit, unnecessary roughness. It's not high, it's in his chest.
They called unnecessary. They didn't call head and neck. They called unnecessary roughness, late hit. That's one of those bang bang plays. Typically, what, 2-step rule?
Yeah, and I think it's obviously he led with his shoulder. Yep. He didn't cross check. He didn't hit him high. He hit him in the shoulder. His helmet comes off.
Yeah.
And so, but this is our game has changed, right? And a hit like that when you and I played Dixon, nothing. No. And obviously we get it. We want to protect the players, and so they've changed the rules to try and do that.
Hopkins holds the ball, which means they will have possession to begin the second quarter. The first quarter was dominated by the Ohio State Buckeyes. On senior night, the Scarlet and Gray have come to play. They lead 3-0. When we're back, Hopkins looking at their first goal of the contest. Points for the Nittany Lions. Maryland last night, that was a very close competitive game. Daniel Kelly, Luke Weirman getting the job done for that Terrapin team. Maryland's interesting. They kill you in spurts against Penn State. 3 goals in succession that turned that game around. Last night, 3 goals in 3 minutes, 38 seconds. When they find an opening, they pounce.
Yeah, and that defensive battle they had with Ohio State, they had those 2 pole goals consecutively that turned the tides for them.
Yeah. Caleb Viak making the big save on the EMO. That was a good look from Melendez, and the mishandle on the clear. Kilrain, not much better in the conference off the carpet. The talented freshman from Purcellville, Virginia, picks the ball up. If you're Ohio State, you played that great first quarter. Don't give Hopkins second chance opportunities.
No, the error, your margin for error is so small, and you kill a man down, and then you turn it over in the clear on an easy pass, and that's, you can't do that.
Skip pass, Chavette.
And that was the first save for Big Tasty.
Second, right?
Second.
He made that one down here.
I thought that hit the pipe, but I think that counts.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
You know goalie stats. Anything around the 6x6 that is turned away, that is a save.
That's right, especially if their dads are keeping the stats.
Garrett Degnan steps over into the defensive end to pick up a key ground ball for the Blue Jays. Gives it up to Patrick Deans, number 46 in the blue and black.
2 failed clears there for the Buckeyes.
2, yeah, that'll drive you crazy as a coach.
Yeah, you did the hard part, right? Mm-hmm. You got to stop.
Yeah.
Take care of the ball. And this is something that every single team works on, right? Every day in practice.
Yeah. Collison comes around. Quick slide from Ohio State. The matchup looks to be 38 in gray. This is Langermeyer. Angeles gets it. Gets a step, shoots and scores. Jacob Angeles from the wing. Gets top side, gets his hands free. High bouncers will go. Hopkins gets their first of the game.
We led with Jacob Angeles in his quarterbacking ability, his ability to set up his teammates, but he's got a short stick matchup. Ohio State has to respect that. They don't. He wins his matchup pretty easily. Nobody slides, and he's got a hands-free shot. Just a simple split dodge here, right to left. Nobody comes. You know, he stayed 7 yards on fire. And great placement. You called it, the high bouncer.
Angeles, to me, is that one player Hopkins cannot afford to lose. He is the quarterback, keeps things calm on the offensive end, can feed, can dodge, can shoot. He is the straw that stirs the drink, and he gets a big, big marker for the Blue Jays.
And he makes it look easy, just so natural.
First time I ever saw him, I was reffing a scrimmage, Hopkins-Marquette, back in 2020, right before the pandemic. You know, about a month later, shut everything down. And that's the kind of kid. He was a freshman out of Paul VI in Northern Virginia. Like, you know, that to the then coaching staff, I think Billy Guan, I'm like, who's that guy? Well, that's Angel.
We got the matchup again here. Let's see if Ohio State chooses to slide this time.
Quicker than a hiccup.
They don't.
Turns the corner. Top shelf. 2-3. Jacob Angeles. He's got the sweet feet. And he gets Hopkins to within one.
You know, this is the exact same situation as goal number one for Angeles. Has the short stick matchup, they get the switch. And here's where he looks so calm, so patient. His head is up. And Ohio State does not slide for the second time, and they pay the price for the second time. How about that footwork?
Oof.
Look at that.
It's like a young Greg Bice on the agility ladder.
Man, I'll tell you what, guys that just that have that quickness and it's timing. He's just setting him up and setting him up, and then bam, he strikes.
Pat Cavanaugh, Notre Dame, reminds me of that move. Reminds me of him.
Yeah, there's certain guys that just like Jack Myers for Ohio State. Had that, but he's like not the fastest guy.
Yeah,
he's
he just able to set you up.
Yeah, just set you up and read it, and nobody's better than Angeles.
Ross Scott of Rutgers, we got to see him last night.
He's a phenomenal player.
Gannon Matthews with the feed and rings off the pike. Great step down opportunity for Blake Island. And it's been a minute since Ohio State has been on offense. So that's a good, clean look to get when you've been on the defense for a few minutes.
Yeah, the Ohio State offense is, we talked about their struggles they've had. They're looking pretty good right now against the stingy and impressive Hopkins defense.
Brett Martin, Hunter Juronsky on his shorties for the Blue Jays. This is Ed Sheen. He's got the first of the Ohio State goals here tonight. Greenblatt has another. This is Gannon Matthews. Flings it wide. 31 seconds on the shot clock for the Buckeyes. Looks like Erling got a piece of that.
Yeah, I think McKenna could have taken another step. They had the pick.
Yeah.
Set for him at X and came around hands-free.
Oh, nice handle by Hunter Juronsky. That was a tough pass to begin with, but it also was in the sun. Full extension of the arms to pull that one in, and that is a big clear for the Blue Jays. Ryan Evans, 49 in blue, has checked into the game for Johns Hopkins, running the semblance of a third midfield with this group. Joining him is Cam Chevette, Hunter Chevette's older brother. Evans with a shot. It's tasty. Gets down low to make the save. For a big man, 297 pounds, he gets down with incredible efficiency.
Yeah, he's very agile, he's very quick, got great hands, obviously, and his body positioning is great. Uses that frame to his advantage.
Caleb Fyock, a.k.a. the Big Tasty, adopted the nickname from his family after. Big fan of the sitcom The Goldbergs. Barry Goldberg, the older brother, christened himself Big Tasty, and he's the middle brother. His brother Al played goalie at Penn State. Caleb has a younger sister, so he's the middle child. He was christened Big Tasty. Wasn't supposed to play this year, or at least Henry Blake was the starter. Got hurt early in the year. That's what Nick Myers told us the other day, that you lose the two guys who you think are your best players early in the season. Bobby Van Buren on defense, Henry Blake between the pipes.
Yeah, and he stepped up. You know, he's, like you said, he wasn't supposed to play, but he's done a phenomenal job. How about the Hopkins defense there with the active sticks to pick that ball off and get the clear?
Great play by Scott Smith.
Ari Allen stuck on defense for the Buckeyes, number 3.
Good news is he's with a short stick D midi. That's Jackson Raposo, so they'll retreat to the midfield line. And
yeah, everybody's got their personnel on, so let's play some 6-on-6 lacrosse.
Dylan Bauer.
Outside of Angeles, Hopkins has had a difficult time winning their matchups.
No question. Bauer.
Good defense from Fisher.
Really nice defense by Eli Fisher. Transfer from Wagner, graduate student, native of Allentown, Pennsylvania. Swim move by Peshko. Nice recovery. Quick slide by number 11 in gray, Marcus Hudgens. Only 2 seconds for Hopkins to work with. They chuck it into the corner. Nice defensive stand by Ohio State.
Yeah, and Hopkins has been playing great defense this quarter as well. How about the body positioning in the stick? Sticks up, young men, all you young defenders out there. Sticks in the passing lane.
I feel like with Quentin Kilrain getting the number 1, Scott Smith has more ability. I mean, he's a number one cover guy too, all Big Ten performer. I think that gives him more freedom to make plays like that.
Well, without question. I mean, there's some coaches that'll take their best defender and put him on a third attackman and say, go at it. Go throw that stick around, pick off some passes, be active, be aggressive. And when you have a great cover guy like Kilrain, that just opens you up where you might get a better matchup and you're able to play a little bit free. It's kind of like that same as we talked about, having that stout goalie, get a little more confidence in your ability to take risks.
Kilrain, that lefty, my college teammate Brian Picola compares Kilrain to Brian Volker and Rob Dorr.
Not bad company, huh?
Two All-Americans for the Blue Jays. How about Erlin with the save and then the rebound? Gannon Matthews with the quick stick and Chase Erlin with 2 consecutive highlight reel saves. Wow. Terrific goaltending from number 22 in blue, and he's got a big smile on his face after those stops.
Fans direct your attention to the Tyler Murphy flagpole at the southeast end of the stadium.
Prime time, Sunday night, big game. Blake Island with the shot. The original save, Gannon Matthews. No thank you, says Chase Erlin. We have got a good one in Columbus. Finals tonight looking no different with these two teams going nip and tuck.
Yeah, we expected a defensive battle. That's what we're getting. We watched that highlight here to bring us back, and it reminds me of the old adage, it's better to be lucky than it is to be good. Fortuitous bounce, right place, right time, and get the game winner.
You couldn't have drawn it up any better. I mean, that's like the science project that you get it through the marble going through the pipes, and then everything else just kind of falls into place. Blake Island splits a defense and sticks it past Chase Erlin. What a shot by number 34 in gray.
Blake Island was a terrific high school football player as well. He talked about his versatility, playing defense, playing offense. One of the things for him is his ability to win a one-on-one matchup. And he does a great job. He's played a lot of box. You're going to see him get under here. Just a little face dodge, and you're going to see Kilrain try and hit. Blake Island, and Blake Island is a truck. How about that shot placement?
That was a thing of beauty, and you'll see number 6, Quentin Kilrain, loses his helmet, and what that means is he's got to come off the field now. He has been replaced at close defense by number 11, Carson Brown. And Kilrain will not be allowed to return to action until the next dead ball.
And that's a new rule change this year?
It is.
And part of that is encouraging kids to wear their helmets properly.
That is ding, ding, ding. Helmets are flying off. Kids aren't strapping it up. I mean, we've seen 2 helmets come off here tonight. That is the exception versus the rule here in 2024. Hopkins will grab another timeout. Not only will that allow them to set up something offensively, that allows them also to get Quentin Kilrain back in the game on the defensive end. Brother Alaric manned the pipes for Penn State, and there's the nickname.
What a great kid, too.
He's fantastic. I've known him since he was in the 4th or 5th grade, coached against him on the club scene, coaching for the Maryland Rough Riders 2022. And then he came over and played with my younger son, Owen, on the Baltimore Crabs.
Oh, my 2 boys, after a game earlier in the season, made me wait with them outside the locker room until he came out to get an autograph.
He is a Pied Piper. He's got that personality. Loves the game, loves life, and loves the spotlight. Feet inside. That was a golden opportunity for Hunter Chavette. Just goes wide.
I can't believe that got through.
I think Camille applied some pressure into the gloves.
That was a high risk, high reward.
Chavette with that shot. No dice. Hits the side of the cage. Chavette's a terrific shooter.
Yeah, I think
typically
he forced that
with
one
time
a
and
bit.
space. Yeah, that one was a little bit of a force, and it goes into the back of the cage.
Yeah, you got a goalie who's seeing the ball well. You're low angle, try and snap it on. It's wasn't a strong percentage of that going in. But he is a fantastic shooter, man. He brings it.
Oh, his debut against Denver, Hopkins season opener, he had some shots with placement, velocity. He's the real deal. It's like that pitcher in baseball you've never seen before.
Right.
And then it's time, okay, let's not get beat by that again. Good defense by Brett Martin. Excuse me, that is Brandon Aviles, Syracuse transfer for Johns Hopkins. 25 seconds to shoot for the Buckeyes. McKenna, 6'6", using his height to get a step, sees over the defense and delivers a high to low bouncer past Chase Erlin. Buckeyes back up by 3.
I think that shot caught Erlin by surprise. McKenna's 6'6", he's got that high release point. Kind of did. I mean, what do you have, 10, 15-second dodge here? He carries all the way across, squares up, rolls back, doesn't like what he sees, gets to where he wants, and then lets it go.
It's getting to that spot.
A lot of patience there.
Yeah, if we were playing at the shoe, that would have been between the hash marks.
That's right. I think Erlin might have been screened there a little bit too, and shooters now are taught, they understand that if there's a screen, there's somebody in front of the goalie, put it on net and see what happens.
Yeah, let it rip. Tommy Burke wins another face-off. Hopkins using Tyler Dunn for the most part this evening. Dunn had some success took most of the draws against Navy, Loyola, and Virginia. Logan Callahan, number 5 in blue, against Carolina, Michigan, Penn State. So the last 2 weeks, Logan Callahan has been the primary draw taker. Tonight it's Tyler Dunn for the Blue Jays. Nice stutter step move, great trail check. That was Jaronski. And then we got a timeout. Nick Myers sensed danger.
You play defense for 10, 15 seconds. Eventually you're going to give something up, right?
Out of the timeout, let's see what offensive coordinator Justin Tuma for Ohio State has cooked up. The re-trigger, powered by Gannon Matthews. Matt Caputo getting some run on attack.
Hopkins almost picks off another skip pass there. If you're Ohio State, you have to be aware that Hopkins' sticks will be in the passing lanes at all times.
Feed, step down, shot, goal! Gannon Matthews with a BB.
Yeah, this is Gannon Matthews just finding a soft spot in the Hopkins defense. I didn't think he had a lot to shoot at from where he was and his angle, but was able to beat Erlin. So Greenblatt here as high as you see 24 at the top of your screen, just get to a good spot. And the celly.
Matthews, transfer from Cleveland State. He was the Atlantic Sun midfielder of the year in 2023. Junior from Eagle, Idaho. 17th goal of the season. Physical play at the faceoff. McDermott, tough ground ball. Smart play to get it to Chase Erlin. And, we've been talking the last few days, and we addressed, Mitchell Pelkey and I last night on our broadcast of Rutgers, Maryland. I mean, this is a great year for Big Ten goalies. Great defense being played by Johnny Cool, who takes it away, steals the lunch money, flicks it with the backhand, broken stick from Bowden Zulik. Uneven situation, Marinier hits the post. And Ohio State Lacrosse Stadium is popping.
What a series. Starts with the ride. Johnny Cool with the takeaway. You're going to see this ground ball he actually has in the back of his stick. Flips it out. Hopkins is caught. Defender breaks his stick, has to get off, and there's where you see Marinier's range.
And you could see Ohio State gain that advantage when number 44 in blue, Bowden Zulik, broke his stick. He had to withdraw from the play. And how about the confidence of Marinier? I mean, that's akin to a basketball player pulling up for, I know it's not a three-pointer necessarily, but, I mean, he just pulled up and let her rip on Chase Erlin, who, what I was going to say earlier, along with Jack Frassian, probably those two have established themselves as the top goaltenders in the Big Ten. But don't tell that to Ohio State, as they have scored 7 on Erlin and another. I mean, these face-offs, man, that's a game within the game.
No doubt, and Ohio State has the advantage right now. But you talk about goaltending in the Big Ten, not a better conference in my opinion. Top to bottom, every single guy is obviously good. They're seeing the ball real well, and we're talking about how hard it is for, goals are really hard to come by in this league right now.
Hopkins has got to get something going. Ohio State has dominated. They were up 3-0. Hopkins got it back to 3-2. And then since then, it's been all Buckeyes.
Yeah, this is the first possession they've had.
Yeah, in a long time.
In a long time.
Garrett Degnan operating, and he gets hung up. Shot by Degnan. He picks up the ground ball. How did he not only score it, but score it with authority?
Great hands and poise from Degnan. What starts and looks like it's going to be a turnover ends up him getting a goal with only one shoe.
And right then I'm thinking, gosh, Hopkins looks like they're dodging in quicksand. But Garrett Degnan, the big man out of Harwood, Maryland, boy, what an impressive play.
Yeah, just great awareness to find that ball after he loses it, which would look like it was going to be a cause turnover for the Buckeyes, turns into a goal for the Blue Jays.
And we saw Degnan lost his shoe and also was walking a little gingerly to the sideline. So something that we will keep our eye on.
And they have Chavette down low.
Cam Chavette is the fourth attackman. 150th goal of Garrett Degnan's career.
Yeah, we'll see if they're just tying his shoe, putting his shoe back on, and
get back out
injury.
there.
Yeah.
1 minute remaining, 1 minute.
Some big possession here.
That is a huge goal for Hopkins, and
Huge.
this is a prime opportunity as well to try to trim away further at this Buckeye advantage.
Yeah, I think they're going to hold for one.
Yeah, smart move.
Yeah, you're going in. You don't want to give Ohio State the opportunity to go up 5.
Shot clock and game clock are virtually identical at this point. Russell Melendez came to life against Rutgers and has been playing some great lacrosse as of late. 6 goals, 2 assists in the last 3 games. Under 20. Angeles on Connor Camille.
The short stick matchup. This is where they've had a lot of success.
Great handle by Chavette. The shot to score. What a shoelace catch by Hunter Chavette, the freshman. And he cocks it back, beats Fayok. We have got a brand new ball game.
Hopkins has had so much success when Angeles has got a short stick. Ohio State chose not to slide to him. He scores 2 goals. They choose to finally send the slide to him early, and he's able to use that quarterbacking ability and that vision to set up Chavette. And great handle from Chavette and the finish.
To step in, identify the location of the shot, and to deliver it. Hunter Chavette. He had 6 goals in his first 2 games as a Blue Jay. Quick time, opportunity, great handle, shot, save early. Another rebound, shot goes wide. And time expires here in the first half in Columbus. What a wild ending.
Wow. Ohio State gets not 1, but 2 opportunities, and Erlin. That would have gone. That would have counted.
Greg Langenmeyer, what a handle from the short stick D mid. He had his shoelaces. Gets a nice paced shot off. Wow. I think Maryland was able to right the ship, made it 3-2, and then won the game from there. Ohio State, in this game so far, there has been no let-up. When Hopkins got back in it at 3-2, they put their foot on the gas, and we're going to have a flag down. But those 2 goals at the end of the first half, will that be the momentum-shifting plays that'll get Hopkins on the right track here in the second half?
And you got a free play.
Yeah.
For your first possession, you're going to have a man up. And the question for Ohio State, can they close, can they finish? They were up 6-1, Penn State at one point.
Great point.
And end up losing here at home.
Yeah. We heard Nick Myers at halftime. We got 30 more minutes of work. We got to close the deal. 40 seconds on the shot clock for the Blue Jays.
Who else is going to win a matchup if you're Hopkins other than Angeles? Angeles has been the guy, obviously, you get him in the short stick. You love that matchup if you're Hopkins. But he's going to need a little bit of help. He's going to need somebody else to step up, win a matchup, draw a slide, and get the Ohio State defense rotating.
Peshko drew a slide, hit Dylan Bauer, but great recovery by Johnny Cool, number 20 in scarlet and gray. Peshko with the sweep. Good defense being played by Eli Fisher, and that's a nice save by Caleb Fayok. Read that one all the way, saved it clean. Whistle stops play. And I think we're going to have a push or a trip against Ohio State. Let's listen into the officials.
White number 9, trip. 1 minute, white number 9, trip. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Good news if you're Hopkins, you get the full minute versus the push in the 30.
That is Logan Callahan coming in and taking that face-off, the junior from Victor, New York. Johns Hopkins starts out circle formation, no crease.
I think, we talked to both these coaches about everybody knows who they are. They know there's no surprises. And I was going to say, an opportunity for you to mix in some wrinkles, man up. Jacob
Angeles, little touch pass to Garrett Degnan. He is able to redirect it. And just like that, a 5-goal Buckeye advantage has been trimmed down to 2.
Yeah, and Angeles, simple look to Degnan. 2 best players for Hopkins. Look at the way he's eyes up, controlling the defense, and that pass had to be perfect with Ohio State defenders draped all over Degnan.
Great cut, great look. When all you have is a little slimmer of daylight, you got to make it count. Angeles with a great feed. Degnan with the finish. Now if you're Ohio State, got to have an answer, and that's a good start. Face-off violation against the Blue Jays gives possession to the Buckeyes.
For Ohio State, we've seen Burke. I guess he's been winning exclusively at the face-off X. Oldman, the freshman out of Canada, has got a lot of minutes for the Buckeyes, been very good, and I'm a little surprised we haven't seen him at all.
Stick with what works, and Hopkins obviously using a two-headed rotation. We got 5-on-5 lacrosse right now. Ohio State trying to win the sub game, and they've got a momentary advantage. Gannon Matthews with good hustle by Casey McDermott to get to the midline, and now we're at 6-on-6 lacrosse. Mishandled by Marinier. Great backup by Matthews. 40 seconds on the shot clock. Marinier's got range, but that one just a bit outside.
Yeah, and that was real deep. I think he could have got 3 or 4 yards closer.
You could see his confidence, though. He'll pull up and let it rip from distance. Greenblatt, transfer from Binghamton. Good slide by Kilrain. Good soak by Caputo.
Yeah, both these defense, they're just on your hands so quick.
Step shot and a goal. What a rocket. Gannon Matthews falling down. The high heat singes the twine. Ohio State back up by 3.
Gannon Matthews arrived on Ohio State's campus from Cleveland State and was on fire the first half of the season. He slowed down a little bit, but he's stepping up again here tonight, and super important for the Buckeye offense. They need him to get going if they're going to make a run in this Big Ten tournament. How about that shot placement?
Gannon Matthews' celebrations are on point. He had a good one, his first goal in the second quarter. Has another one, and it's an emotional game, and Ohio State got some of that emotion back. Good face-off pickup by Tommy Burke, native of Palm Beach, Florida.
You know, Ohio State didn't get anything there, but they're tested in transition every opportunity that they're getting. And earlier in the season, you know, they haven't scored a ton of goals, and I think a big reason they haven't been very good in transition. And when they hung 14 on Rutgers, they scored so many in transition. They were beating them down the field. They were testing every opportunity, and they're doing that again here tonight.
Shot goes wide. Guess we should mention Garrett Degnan scoring that goal early. Obviously nothing wrong with the foot. Whatever was
That's right.
bothering him.
Good news for the Blue Jays. And you look at these two different offenses, and on one hand you have Angeles and Degnan. Those are your two go-to guys, right? Those are the guys that are stirring the pot. They're your leaders. They're the guys. Ohio State really doesn't have like a guy.
Yeah.
You know, when you look back at this program, they've always had kind of one guy, going all the way back to Kevin Buchanan, Jesse King, Logan Schuss. You know, they've had one guy, Jack Myers last year, so one guy who's been able to really take over a game.
Yeah.
And in Ohio State, it's more by committee this year.
Great point. How about Trey LeClaire? He's another one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Nick Myers mentioned we don't have that one guy. It's more of a collective effort.
I got a bone to pick with Trey LeClaire because he made 44 an offensive number. You know, that was my number. All the D guys are wearing it.
I mean, look,
and then he comes in, scores a bunch of goals, and you know, all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, let's talk about the guy that's scored all those goals wearing 44. But it's backwards belongs to Bobby Van Buren now. So
I was going to say that number's worn by some pretty darn good players here in Columbus.
All right, so Hopkins had the man-up goal. Let's see what they can do. 6-on-6. Who's going to win a matchup? Who's going to break down this defense?
Good defense by Justin Shearer.
Yeah, I think Justin Shearer has been a real bright spot for the Buckeye defense. He's got a high motor. He's a guy that can get them going in transition, and he just plays with an edge. He had that big hit.
Yeah.
Got a penalty, obviously, but not scared to throw his body around.
Less than 10 seconds to shoot. Degnan Shot. Nice save. Wasn't on frame, but Fayok was able to get a stick on it. His reactions, Caleb Fayok, they're so smooth. Very efficient. And when you consider the fact that he's listed at 297 pounds, you know, he does not move like Big Van Vader or you take your pick of any large professional wrestler. Rikishi. Head of steam shot. Erlin with a nice save. Marinier with that offering.
And how about
Ohio State looking to get some early offense.
Yeah, and how about that pass from Big Tasty, from Fayok? You talk about, you know, his progression as a goalie. Obviously, he's a great ball stopper. Talking to Coach Myers, he said, you know, that's one area that he really needed to improve, and he has. He's getting better every single game.
Nick Myers telling us, you know, they caused 16 turnovers against Maryland, and they needed more transition and just didn't get it. You can tell they're pushing tonight. They're pressing the envelope. Peter Milliman said defensively, Ohio State presents a ton of challenges for us, both physical and fundamental, and we are seeing those challenges on full display so far in this one. Collison gets some separation. Degnan from distance hit a defender, and we've got an Ohio State Buckeye down. That is number 42, Cullen Brown, the sophomore from Silver Spring, Maryland. He said he's okay, but
I think he has to come off.
Well, it's an interesting because here it is. Ouch. So technically, if you stop play because of an injury, a player comes off, but that ball was going out of bounds anyway. But in the scheme of things, game management from the officials, you want to make sure that the player's healthy and good. And
no doubt.
No residual.
All right, question for you here. Hopkins gets a reset. Why?
That's a good question.
They just gave him a reset. I think Coach Myers is talking to Mr. Palem about it, I think he's asking the same question I am.
I'm stumped on that one. Shot, good save by Fayok.
That was Angeles again, having the short stick matchup.
So now you got me thinking. I'm like, yeah, why did Hopkins get a reset on that last occasion?
I don't know if they, I don't know.
Peshko working against Connor Camille. Peshko gets inside. Camille, great defense.
Into the crease.
And Peshko steps in the crease. Connor Camille showing why he will be playing football at Coastal Carolina next year. I mean, the strength and the footwork from Camille to shove Peshko. I mean, Peshko is no lamb. 6'4". Nice job, Connor Camille.
If you're Hopkins, who's the guy that you need to get going? Who's going to step up? Is it Peshko? Is it Collison?
I mean, you look at obviously you've got Angeles doing his thing. Degnon's got a school record goal scoring streak that he's kept going here tonight. Melendez has 8 points in his last 3 games. Collison scored the game winner last week. In addition to another goal against Penn State, he had 5 points against Virginia, 4 goals and an assist.
Yeah, that streak Degnan has had and is on is pretty impressive. Obviously in some good company. Ryan Brown and Terry Reardon.
Ball going over. And that'll be a play on.
Oh, transition opportunity for Hopkins. Oh, they're going to bring him back.
That was not, we didn't hear a whistle right away. And so Degnon's like, okay, am I good? And he probably should have just picked it up and kept going. Typically, officials will blow their whistle because they want the offense to have the full benefit of that turnover. In other words, they don't want to have a 50-50 ground ball situation. So I think they stopped play for Colin Brown due to an injury.
Okay.
And with that defensive stoppage due to an injury, that precipitated the reset of the shot clock. That's how Hopkins got the fresh 60.
Makes sense.
Officials got that one right.
That's why I'm glad you were in the booth with me.
Hey, I didn't know right away. Walking the dog. Stick fake. Shot. And Fiat is there.
What a
Reflexes by the big freshman.
Yeah, what a move from Degnan to get to a great spot. Ohio State defense did slide and put him under a little bit of pressure, and then Fiat stands tall. You know, I think you get, as a goalie, it's easy to panic a little bit. You get one-on-one with some of these guys, some of these great finishers, and it's really hard to stand there and be patient when you got a guy running down on you one-on-one like that.
You are on the club scene. You run Resolute, a great program here in Ohio. I think when these kids, not just in high school, but when they get to the college level, they've played in a lot of big games. Do you think that helps with the confidence and the comfort aspect?
Without a doubt. These kids have been playing against the best since they've been in high school. So, you know, you come in, you're not intimidated. You know, you've seen the best, you played against the best, and you're prepared and you're ready, I think. And that's, if you look at the athletes that you're getting in college right now, college lacrosse. Look at their stick work. Look how refined they are. I think a big part of that is what they're getting, obviously, from their high school is going to develop there, but the extra lacrosse that they're getting in the summer, some extra exposure and some extra competition.
And the formation of the NLF, the National Lacrosse Federation, Resolute, member of that?
Yes.
Baltimore Crabs, Team 91, Express, Eclipse.
Yeah, and so when you look at the kids from Ohio, the kids that are playing in those tournaments, they're playing against all these kids, these top-ranked kids from New York and Baltimore, and so they have a lot more experience.
Shot and a goal. Marinier. You said he was a stretch shooter. You said he had range. That one left a vapor trail.
And Marinier, I love what he does here on his shot selection and his location. You're going to see Fiat save first to stare down Degnan. One-on-one, Degnan. Fiat stands tall. Gets the ball here. You're going to see Mayer with the feed. And the shot went low a couple times that Marinier got stopped and decides to go upstairs. 9-5, Buckeyes.
Opinion. The greatest rivalry in college lacrosse. I know you're going to not agree with me, just like much like Mitchell Pelkey didn't agree with me. Maryland and Johns Hopkins at Homewood Field, and then Ohio State, Michigan. How special is it, though? You know, that is the game in college football every year, Ohio State, Michigan. How special was that to get that going for Ohio State lacrosse and for Michigan lacrosse to boot?
Yeah, it's so important for these states and their high school and their youth lacrosse to have that rivalry, right? You grow up in the state of Ohio. My kids, they don't say the word Michigan. You know, they say that team up north. And every time I say it, you know, I get a dirty look. And so that's the depth of this rivalry. And to have that on the lacrosse forefront now and to be able to play that in lacrosse just adds. It's going to help the youth lacrosse. It's going to help high school lacrosse because kids are they want to be part of that rivalry and they want to play in that game.
We'll have it for you next week on the Big Ten Network. If Hopkins can rally in this game and pull it out, their date with Maryland next week will be for the #1 seed in the Big Ten tournament. Flag flies. Looks like we are going to have an offsides on Ohio State or some type of procedure.
Yeah, offsides. That's what I believe the call is. Got an extra player out there. I'm sorry, they don't.
No, so
I don't know what the call is.
Nick Myers getting an explanation from the trail official. Cullison gets his hands free inside. Fiat looks like he saved it. Ball's loose. Ohio State had it for a second. Colin Brown back in action. Great to see him after taking that shot with the ball to the head. And we'll see what the call is.
White 24, offsides, 30 seconds, white 24.
So it is an offsides. Ohio State just elected not to put the 7th man down on defense. Nick Myers, not a fan of the call.
Yeah, I think there's two questions there. I'm not sure if he's debating the call or saying, hey, let me know so I can send that player over, right? Because you've committed the foul. You want to get that 7th defender back.
Hopkins back in that circle offense. On the last sequence, it was Angelos to Degnan. Feed, shot to score. This time, it is Angelos to Melendez.
Ohio State is playing with fire by letting Angelos stand there hands-free feed. They're not respecting him. You know, you got to get, I guess you don't have to. Clearly they're not doing it, but for me, and when you're on a man down, you got a feeder like Angelos. I think you get out there, you put pressure on the hands, make it difficult for him, right? We saw the last feed to Degnan, then he's got this one to Melendez, but you watch, Ohio State's not getting to him.
And you could see, watch them, they followed Degnan. It was that little, like,
right.
Degnan and Melendez inside. Degnan comes to the near pipe. He scored on that last time. 2 gray jerseys go to him, and that opened up things across the face of the cage for Russell Melendez. Ohio State now leading the face-off category 11-6. Hopkins has made an adjustment. Number 6 in blue, Quentin Kilrain, coming up on the face-off. Again, if you're just joining us, Jacob Stabner, who has switched from close defense to long stick midi, out tonight for the Blue Jays. He also missed the Penn State game last weekend. So when Kilrain goes up to that wing area, Hopkins is putting Carson Brown, number 11 in blue, in his spot.
Yeah, they're putting Kilrain up there. They're not winning a lot of the draws cleanly. They're sending him up there to try and cause a turnover, maybe a 50-50. Put him up there and give yourself a shot.
Ohio State looking to answer the Hopkins tally. Approaching 90 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. What a night here in Columbus. Great weather, great crowd, great lacrosse. Ari Allen. The redodge against Juronsky. Gets inside. Nice check. Carson Brown, disruptive inside for Johns Hopkins.
Juronsky again with that trail check.
Tough ground ball. 10 seconds to shoot. And that one eludes the grasp of Marinier. Ball goes out of bounds. Turnover to the Blue Jays.
Transition opportunity for the Blue Jays. Not anymore. Decided to pull it out, this Collison.
So Hopkins with a little wrinkle to their offense. Russell Melendez now coming out of the box as a midfielder. Number 31 in blue, Jimmy Ayers, the freshman, wearing number 4 in blue out of South Hamilton, Massachusetts. He's behind the cage on attack.
Shot
and
clock.
Hopkins, yeah, going to play for that last shot here.
Play for that last shot. Yeah, not a factor. And they were able to capitalize at the end of the first half.
And with this little bit of hesitation, if you will, Ohio State switches the matchup. Johnny Cool, long stick midi, goes and takes Melendez. Feed crossbody shot, save, fire. Hopkins got the look. Degnan got the shot. Fayok got the stop.
10 seconds. We'll see what Ohio State can do with this.
Short time. Connor Camille finally recognizes, gets triple team, throws it harmlessly into Chase Early stick, whips it the length of the field. And we're right back to where we were at halftime. Ohio State leading by 3 goals. Can Hopkins make a run? Or do the Buckeyes continue their mastery over the Blue Jays here in Columbus?
For his development as a goaltender.
You look at the potential freshman of the year in the Big Ten. Tasty in the spotlight tonight. Carden Stoller, goaltender for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Colin Cordilla, a talented midfielder. I think it might be a 3-horse race between those 3 players at this point in time. And if I had to handicap it, I'd go with Stoller and Fayok as probably the 1-2.
Yeah, and I think you talk about obviously what they've done and to take nothing away from the other positions, but you're a freshman. That's the biggest jump, between high school and college or college and pro is the goalie position. So for them to step in and be making an impact is a real big deal.
Melendez is now running with Dylan Bauer and Matt Collison in the midfield. Jimmy Ayers on attack. Can this midfield get anything going for the Blue Jays? Degnan pastes the upper 90. He's not a midfielder, but he's a great shooter on the run. He finds the back of the net.
And Degnan just comes off a pick, has enough time and room and ability to get his hands free, and he's got that snappy release. Doesn't look like he's shooting it hard, and then it's on goalies so fast. And his accuracy, man.
When I look at this replay, Greg, and as in real time, the word that comes to my mouth is smooth. I mean, that was just a smooth release from number 40 in blue.
If you're Ohio State defense, Degnan's got the ball. You know he's going left.
Yeah, all day long. Allergic to his right hand.
And so, you know, he's coming off that pick. He's a shooter. You know, the way that I think you should play that, once again, it's just an opinion. There's 1,000 ways to do things, but jump switch. You know, have that picker jump out, put pressure on him so that he can't get his hands free. He's under pressure right away, and then you recover behind him.
7th straight hat trick for Garrett Degnan, number 40 in blue. Midfield unit of Peshko, McDermott, and Hunter Chavette coming back into the game for Johns Hopkins. Good defense by Marcus Hudgens on Jacob Angelis. Ayers, the freshman, working on Cullen Brown. This Ohio State defense on their one-on-one matchups giving no quarter.
Done a great job. Angelis against the short stick there. That's something they've had success with.
Looks like he tried to go underneath and either lost the ball or got the ball taken away from him. Either way, it's Ohio State. Watch out. Patrick Deans. Justin Shearer had it. Oh, boy. I was going to say the wrist strength and the stick control of Shearer was going to win the day, but relentless pressure for Hopkins creates the turnover. That is a huge play for Johns Hopkins in the middle of the field. Credit Patrick Deans.
Yeah, Ohio State's playing a lot of defense right now. And if you're Ohio State, you got to be yelling from the bench, right? You got one on, one on, one on. The rule in lacrosse, there's always somebody behind you, right? There's always somebody chasing you. There's always somebody on your back. Yep.
You're an endangered species.
That's right.
Peshko, Collison, Bauer back on the field. Thought Bauer was going to let that one rip.
Yeah, he's quick.
Collison beats the check and scores. Big Matt Collison. Ohio State chase stick. Collison tucked it, sticks it from a tight angle. It's a one-goal game.
Collison just great body control, reading the defender. You talked about he went for stick, protects his stick, gets to a good spot. You see this little pick here, and then works to the middle, and then how about that twister?
Yeah.
You see him use his stick, come across, not switch hands, but use his body and snap it back.
And you can see Shearer, number 37 in gray, kind of like, I think he thought he was going to have more support on that. All right, you're Ohio State. You've seen this story before. Lead at home. Mentally, what do the Buckeyes need to do right now?
Yeah, you stick to your systems. You trust your personnel. And you've got to, you know, the one thing that's really turned the tide, I think, is Hopkins is winning faceoffs right now.
Buckeyes catch a break. Violation against the Blue Jays on that last sequence. Gannon Matthews, he has been terrific so far tonight. Blake Island showing his toughness and versatility as a two-way midfielder.
And for both of these teams, they expected to be in a dogfight, right? So
this is no surprise.
This is no surprise. Trust your systems. Trust your personnel. Win your matchup. It's a simple game. Win your matchup. Take care of the ball.
Island gets inside. Nice save by Erlin. Tough defense. Scott Smith lowered the boom on Island. Man, his first step is explosive.
It's explosive, and he's strong. You can't get him off his line. The next progression for him is going to be his shooting because he gets wherever he wants.
Credit Chase Erlin for standing tall. Nick Myers. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say the quality of saves that Erlin has had tonight have been off the charts.
Right. Yeah, we heard Nick Myers at halftime saying we got to empty the tank. Brendan Grimes, Casey McDermott, and Russell Melendez running in the midfield for Johns Hopkins. Grimes shot, saved, Fayok. Read it the whole way. Oh, nice handle by Johnny Cool. Blake Island, terrific ride from Jimmy Ayers. Almost got the trail check on Island, but Ohio State with a big clear.
Ohio State choosing to attack early with a 1-goal lead. So much time left. I think you got to keep your foot on the gas if you're Ohio State, even with a 1-goal lead. I don't think you don't want to be too patient.
No.
You don't want to be, overthink things. You can see Grimes with the low to high, and man, Fayok just smooth.
That wasn't terrible placement.
No.
That was offside shoulder. And a turnover from Ohio State.
And that is not what you want.
Kilrain, nice feed underneath. Hopkins. Angeles just ran into traffic, did not have an exit strategy, and loses it. Transition Lacrosse, nice little slap check from McDermott. Good ground ball pickup. Dylan Bauer, end-to-end Lacrosse.
What a play from McDermott to knock that loose. If you're Ohio State right now, you got to handle the adversity. You turn it over on the last offensive possession. You come down, you turn the Blue Jays over, and then you turn it over right back. So for Ohio State, you got to buckle down and fight through this adversity. And if you're Hopkins, you got to be liking your chances right now.
Degnan, hitch move, over, shot to score. Jonathan Peshko. The big boys are playing big-time lacrosse. Hopkins has leveled the score.
And this possession starts with McDermott. You see the first turnover here from Ohio State. The turnover Angeles. Great play from Langermeyer, but you're going to see the hustle right here.
The Rusty Gate.
Wow, the Rusty
Gate.
Yes.
Making an appearance at Ohio State Lacrosse Stadium.
What a play, and that results in the goal from Melendez. Step down and finally able to beat Fayok with an outside shot.
And Ohio State has taken a timeout as Hopkins is getting downhill on the Buckeyes so far here in the fourth quarter. Hopkins, Ohio State. Who's going to come out on top? Come back and find out. Timeout by Nick Myers. What do you think the tone of that conversation was in the huddle?
I know Nick pretty well, and don't panic. Everyone stay the course. We trust the calls, trust the systems, trust each other. Coach Myers get a timeout.
Aranier, off ball, maybe a screen, a little pop. He has shown he can score from range tonight.
And the good news is, if you're Ohio State, you've been winning your matchups. You've been getting to good spots. Talk about Erlin, some of those saves he had to make have been superb. The hands-free step downs from Ohio State or one-on-one, and so you've been able to get to good spots. Now, of course, Hopkins does like to slide early.
Gannon Matthews going for broke. Race to the sideline is won by Johns Hopkins.
Big play. Great
Closest,
hustle.
Closest to when and where it goes out.
Patrick Dean's
and look
here.
at Dean selling out. Official does a nice job to turn around, recognize where the players are as the ball goes out of bounds, and awards it to Johns Hopkins. Probably not the best decision by Gannon Matthews in that situation.
No. Low angle shot. Not a lot to work with. And then no backup from the Buckeyes. Can Ohio State find a stop? Can they stop the bleeding? Can they slow down this run from the Blue Jays?
"30 seconds on the shot clock for Hopkins." Dylan Bauer gets triple team. Nice check. Ball's on the turf. Degnan picks it up.
And Hopkins is, their MO on offense, they're patient. And they're going to wear you down. They're going to pass the ball well. They're going to cut. And they're going to wait for you to make a mistake.
Collison. Good defense by Camille. 5 seconds to shoot. Peshko gets it off and scores! The strength of Jonathan Peshko, the Canadian, gives Johns Hopkins their first lead of the ballgame.
What a heartbreaker for the Ohio State defense. You can't play much better defense than that. Get the shot clock down to 1, and Peshko, just the individual effort, the strength. You're going to see Camille with some great defense here. Rocking back and forth. See that shot clock in the background. 1 second. That ball goes in, and what a big goal.
Yeah. It may not have made a difference, but Camille looked like his helmet went up, and he adjusted it. And at that little split second, it just seemed Peshko got the tiniest sliver of advantage.
Just enough.
But you're right. Camille was hanging on him like a cheap suit. Look at that. Timeout taken by Johns Hopkins. You want to talk about some strength. Logan Callahan.
Yeah, his teammates recognize the strength.
They do. Yeah, I mean, he was taking more hits than a pinata. Teams that are in the top 10 of the RPI. So, in Ohio State right now at 6-6, playing that level of competition, so much more beneficial than playing an easier schedule and being, 9-3 at this juncture.
Yeah, and Ohio State they've been close in all these top 10 matchups. They got to get over the hump. They got to get that W.
And Hopkins, if they can hold, keep this going and be successful in the Big Ten tournament, I mean, they're looking at a potential number 1, number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. A lot of lacrosse left to be played, but that's how impressive Hopkins' resume is at this point in time.
Yeah, they've had a phenomenal season. They played, obviously, extremely tough schedule, and they've won. They've won, unlike Ohio State, who's just been close and hasn't been able to get over the hump. It's a free play here for the Blue Jays. We're going to have a hold coming against Camille.
Important for Ohio State to defend not only this slow whistle, but also the man down that might come. And Ohio State has played a ton of defense here in the fourth quarter. Degnan, feet inside, shot, fire, saves it. Nice handle by Cullen Brown.
I think that hit the post.
Did it? Either way.
They dodge a bullet.
Goalies always count that as a save anyway.
All right, gut check time here for the Buckeyes.
Yeah.
This is a spot right here where if Coach Myers had a timeout, he might want to take it. Ohio State has played so much defense in this quarter. Just to rest your guys, get that reset. Yeah, the hold there. It's the right call, but it's a tough call in a big game.
As an official, what you're looking at is, did advantage get taken away illegally? And I thought the initial check by Camille, that's good. That's just strength and textbook. But then the little grab, McDermott going to the ground, helped his case. Nonetheless, it is a man up for Johns Hopkins. They've had success on their last 2 opportunities.
And Ohio State choosing not to be on Angelos' hands again. They're daring him to shoot.
Yeah, 2-2-2. We are at even strength. Hopkins has 25 seconds to shoot. Buckeye faithful recognizing the efforts of their defense. Can they hold strong? And there's the errant pass picked up by Brown. Nice play by the sophomore.
He's having a great year. All right, transition opportunity. Scratch that. What looked was going to be a 4-on-3.
Garrett Degnan, the goal-scoring attackman with the takeaway. You cannot let that happen if you're Ohio State. What a play by Garrett Degnan. Wow, that is an unfortunate turn of events for the Buckeyes.
And that's 2 plays we've seen from offensive players from the Blue Jays hustling back. We saw the rusty gate
from Casey McDermott.
Casey McDermott. And you had Degnan there with the hustle.
Yeah.
And like you said, this is you're putting your defense in a really tough spot by not being able to get the ball to your offensive players. And Ohio State's only got 2 goals this second half, and that's been a real struggle for them. Second half scoring.
Yeah. Degnan tonight upped his school record game goal scoring streak to 42. The Blue Jays looking to get some breathing room here.
And the clock is going to start to work against Ohio State. Got plenty of time, but
yeah, sure. Degnan lets it rip, goes wide, backed up by the Hopkins attack. 8 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, let's see how aggressive Hopkins decides to be here. If they're going to sub. Yep, here they come. They're starting to sub.
Good point. It's Melendez. Oh, Degnan, or excuse me, that was Collison. Not a bad look. 2 seconds. Hopkins putting their defensive personnel in the middle of the field. The Blue Jays just dropping in the corner.
All right, if you're Ohio State, you got to clear this. And you're playing lacrosse. You don't have any timeouts left.
Eli Fisher, expect a punt return clear. Gives it up to Brown. I thought Fisher was going to take that bad boy, but good execution. I like how he kind of figure 8 after giving it up, makes himself available. Ohio State, no timeouts. They will play through this last 2.5 minutes. Two-man game behind, shot. Looked like it bounced away from the keeper. Then a takeaway. Quentin Kilrain. And a nice check. Good ride by Ohio State. They'll get it back, and they'll get a reset of the shot clock. 80 seconds with the change of possession.
I think that was a little bit of force from McKenna. There's still plenty of time. Be patient. You need a quality look right now.
Without question.
With this game on the line. Your margin for error is shrinking.
And this is where Nick Meyer's words, we don't have that guy. Someone needs to be the guy on this possession. That's going to be interference. Patrick Dean, shot and score! No goal.
What? Let's see what we got. That is a big call to wave off that goal. Okay, I think they had the interference. They have him in the crease,
maybe? It's interference on Patrick Dean's. We're going to have to take a look at the replay.
Wow.
I think...
Technical interference, 30 seconds.
There's the interference, and there it is. The Ohio State player goes in the crease.
Okay.
Number 31 in gray. But you could argue that he gets helped into the crease by Patrick Deans. Watch. Interference and then a little nudge. But being in the crease...
If the player is pushed in...
That could have been a second flag on Hopkins, because that is another interference. Had he been pushed in...
Still would have stopped play.
It would have, yeah, but you would have had 2 flags down. Shot, it doesn't matter! Marinier says, give me the ball. I will deliver. And we are tied at 10.
And Hopkins, we talked about Ohio State choosing not to get to Angeles on the extra man opportunities because of his feeding ability. Hopkins is choosing not to get to Marinier, who's hands down the best shooter on this Buckeye offensive unit.
That was a rocket from the junior from Burlington, Ontario. Played on the Canadian under-21 team that competed against Nick Myers, who was the head coach of the American squad in Limerick, Ireland. Huge face-off. Battle on Fred Taylor Drive.
Got 2 pulls.
Picked up by Deans.
was going to say you got 2 pulls out there for Hopkins.
It pays off, too. What are the advantage of having 2 pulls in a scrum like that? I mean, you would think it might be a disadvantage because you got to alligator arm that stuff, the short ground balls.
Yeah, the biggest advantage you're getting there, it's really hard to pick up the ball clean if you're the Buckeyes. Everything's contested. You got those extra 6 feet.
Good point.
You're going to get hit. You're going to get hit hard.
43 seconds. Game clock and shot clock, about a 10-second differential. Collison likes the matchup.
Yeah, he was the hero last week.
Gets it behind. They want to go with Collison. This is the matchup offensive coordinator John Crawley is hanging his hat on. Good defense by Ohio State. There's the double. The feed. Melendez couldn't handle it. Fiox picks it up. Less than 10 seconds. Ball still loose. Hopkins, Ohio State, fighting for it. Comes out to the Buckeyes. Ohio State chucks it down the field, and we are going to overtime. The standings. Hopkins wins this game. It's a showdown with Maryland next weekend. And if Ohio State can pull it off, they solidify the number 4 seed going into their battle with Michigan.
The top 2 teams are going to get a bye in the Big Ten tournament.
It's huge.
The next 2 get to host at home.
Exactly, so
which
it's
is
gigantic.
also huge. Yeah.
Callahan wins the clamp and plays it out, but Ohio State comes out with it. Ohio State does have an overtime. 4 minutes on the clock. First goal wins. Each team has a timeout.
Yeah, Camille came flying in, missed the ground ball, and DeCicco was there.
Great play by DeCicco.
Yeah, he's great off the ground.
Gannon Matthews against the short stick defense of Brett Martin. Ohio State has liked initiating from the alley, from the wing with number 24. Here he comes. Gets a step shot. It just goes wide, backed up by the Buckeyes.
And Coach Myers, I think you like that take. Top side, hands free.
Got a step, and Hopkins wasn't sliding. They have a ton of faith in Brett Martin. They're all Big Ten short stick D-Mini for that reason. Slap check. Ball's on the turf. Martin picks it up, flings it downfield blindly, and he took a shot.
That was one there. His head was in the right place. Just he sees that he's got a teammate flying upfield. Tries to throw it. He throws it, ends up throwing it out of bounds, but
Martin
he had a
slow to
teammate
get up.
streaking upfield. If he's able to keep that in bounds, he doesn't have to connect. Just got to keep it in bounds. Hopkins going to have an opportunity on a fast break.
And I know the Ohio State faithful not happy with the stoppage of play, but in essence, Ohio State gets a little bit of a timeout here with the injury to Brett Martin, one of the toughest kids on this Johns Hopkins roster. Younger brother Luke, a freshman pole here for Johns Hopkins. And with this injury, Hopkins' number 1 short stick D-Midi that Ohio State had no problem going after is now on the sideline. And it's Brandon Aviles and Hunter Juronsky out there to take his spot.
And how about the defense that he just played right there, taking the ball away?
It was terrific.
Yeah. Big loss here for Hopkins.
They like dodging from this wing. Good defense from Juronsky. Feed. Shot missed.
Yeah, found a soft spot in that defense.
With that injury, the shot clock reset. Well, with the turnover, it's reset to 80 for Ohio State. Gannon Matthews is wide open on the backside. McKenna decides not to give it up. McKenna against Scott Smith. Gannon Matthews can't handle. Now he picks it up.
Myers called a timeout.
Taken by Nick Myers to save possession. It's one of those nights, Coach. What a treat. Sunday Night Lacrosse on the Big Ten Network never fails to deliver.
It never disappoints, and what a privilege it is to get to be here on this Sunday night with you, Mark, and this stadium, this energy. You can just feel the energy from this crowd.
Here's a sequence that led Nick Myers to take that timeout. Pass is a little high. Matthews does a nice job. Aviles was all over him. I mean, this stadium, Ohio State Lacrosse Stadium, first year was last year. Get a great look at the crowd. Seating capacity of over 2,100, 360-degree vantage points. State-of-the-art heated turf comes in handy. Attendance tonight, I said 2,100, I lied. 2,267 strong here at Ohio State Lacrosse Stadium.
Mark,
they have been treated to a great one.
Yeah, no doubt. How was that heated turf when you played?
The only heat that turf generated was, well, when it was hot. You know, it was 120, 130 degrees, but the other heat was, the skin that it took off of my elbows.
It was the real AstroTurf.
That was the real turf. Out of the timeout, Gannon Matthews and Brendan Aviles. Matthews loves that strong right hand. Good slide. Patrick Deans being disruptive. Ball's down to the wing.
Nice dodge from Matthews and better defense from the Blue Jays.
30 seconds on the shot clock. Deans is all over the field for the Blue Jays.
Yeah,
back up to Matthews. This is what they want. Matthews, errant pass, but it's backed up. 15 seconds to shoot. Matt Caputo, an attackman with a shorty matchup, gets underneath. Low angle, misses the cage, backed up on the sideline. What does Ohio State do here? 5 seconds at the shot clock.
I think you jam it in, throw it in, and if you don't get it, you don't get it.
Matthews head of steam, loses it. Hopkins has possession. Good defense by the Blue Jays. Aviles with the run out. What will Hopkins do? Will they play through or call a timeout? John Crawley barking instructions with hand signals from the sideline.
All right, both teams are getting their personnel on that they want.
Hopkins electing to go with Collison and Peshko in the midfield. They'll be joined shortly by Russell Melendez, Eli Fisher, Connor Camille, the short stick D middies for Ohio State. Melendez with the left hand. Back to Collison. They like the matchup with Melendez. Pick set by Collison. Good switch by Camille. Degnan, hands free. Shoots it. Fayak with the save. Rebound. It's in front. Shot. Missed. Goal.
I think Fayak got it again. That's two.
I think Fayak may have gotten a piece of it. Yes. Referee signal for the shot clock reset. 60 seconds for Hopkins to work with. Caleb Fayak, the big tasty, coming up huge in overtime.
If you're Ohio State, Degnan's got the ball. You know he's coming off that pick. You can't let him come hands-free.
Dylan Bauer working behind the cage. Two-man game with Peshko. No big little. No switch. Collison, he won the game against Penn State a week ago. Can he do the same tonight? He shoots. It does! Matt Collison ends things in Ohio State. Johns Hopkins stays perfect in the Big Ten. In overtime. What a game for Greg Bice. This is Mark Dixon. Coming up next is the big show.